So, to start, I've been gone for a while, and I wanted to take this time to apologize.
To absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
Now, let's jump right in. About a year ago, I had realized that Makima is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse in Chainsaw Man. As soon as she brings them up in the final act of part 1, I knew two things. We'll be seeing all four horsemen at some point, and Makima is the horseman of conquest. And for those of you that don't know, the four horsemen of the apocalypse are a religious symbol that are set to arrive on Earth to signify the end of the world. The four horsemen are called out in the Bible as the horsemen of conquest, the horsemen of war, the horsemen of hunger, and finally the horsemen of death. Now, Makima is generally known as the Control Devil, however, it is stated that her power is derived from the fear of conquest, and the term conquest is basically just a term for mass subjugation and control, which is how Makima manifests not only her powers, also her personality seems to fall in line, with a need to subjugate everyone she can rather successfully, having already put all of Japan at her mercy, as well as the US. Now, to further examine the contextual evidence for Makima being the conquest devil, in religious context it is said that of the four horsemen, any one of them individually could potentially end the world by themselves, but that the appearance of all four together is basically GG. This is very interesting for Makima, as she is one of the few devils that could truly bring about the end of the world by herself, if not stopped by Denji at the end of part 1, or a few other plot armory types of nonsense that stopped Makima. In fact, this was their plan. We saw that no one even came close to truly stopping Makima until Denji basically forced her to reincarnate as Nayuta, as we've seen in part 2 so far. Even in her fight with the Darkness Devil, she did more damage to him than she received, and that's before you factor in her contract with the Japanese public that allows her to revive millions of times without restriction. Makima in fact showed a level of superiority even to the true form Chainsaw Devil in their fight. I'll call this form Pochita from here on out just to avoid confusion. Now, Pochita is clearly above most of the devils in the verse in raw power, not only because of his ability to erase these devils on a conceptual level, but Makima states that the Chainsaw Devil, or Pochita, fought at least one of the horsemen and the weapon devils all at the same time. Makima doesn't really make it clear which of the horsemen Pochita fought, however, it doesn't really matter for this video. The reason Pochita's power is important here is because there is a certain hierarchy to power levels in this verse, with very, very few exceptions. You have your meme devils at the bottom, things like the Tomato Devil, who are basically walking L's because so few people are scared of tomatoes. And obviously, for those not caught up, devils, their power varies depending on how much humans fear them, basically, just to keep it simple. Now, next we have your average devils, such as Power and the weapon devils. The power of the devils in this tier varies pretty much wildly, but almost none of them could face the tier above them, the primordial devils. Now, the primordial devils are devils that gain power from the oldest, most basic fears of humanity. For example, the Darkness Devil that we saw. He absolutely massacres a group of devil hunters, Santa Claus, Denji, Power, assassins sent to kill Denji and Power, until Makima, spins back and puts a Darkness Devil in a primordial pack, so to say. And that brings us to the highest known tier of devil in the verse, the four horsemen. They're stated to be the top dogs in hell, but Makima beating the life out of the Darkness Devil and resisting the effects of devils being erased on a conceptual level is beyond anything we've seen in the series, and beyond anything we've seen in any of the lower tiers of devils. If Chainsaw Man erasing the very concepts of devils is strong, Makima being immune to that is all the more impressive. However, this is not to say that she is stronger than Pochita. She seems to believe that she could be eaten by him and erased herself. And I'm personally unsure if this is because she simps so hard for him, or she just doesn't think she could beat him. But I do think it's more likely that Pochita at full power is just stronger than any of the horsemen, as Makima's whole plan was just to kill the other three horsemen using Pochita's power anyway. So, Makima is very clearly one of the four horsemen, the Horseman of Conquest. But more recently, we've seen two other horsemen. We've seen the War Devil and the Famine Devil. Not only are their names kind of dead giveaways, if you remember that War and Famine are two of the biblical horsemen that Chainsaw Man is clearly referring to, but they also have the same Rinnegan eyes as Makima. Unfortunately, we haven't seen much of their true potential, as the War Devil is in a weakened state for a few reasons, but the main one is that the world is in a state of almost peace. There's a lack of war in the world, and the War Devil is also trapped inside the body of this edgy high schooler. She's not really important for this video, so don't worry. And we all know that the Famine Devil basically considers herself the older sister of the War Devil. As to whether she means this as she predates the other horsemen, or if she's just stronger, we're not really sure yet. We've seen her, what, twice? So we haven't gotten to see very much of these two at their full power. Also, the reincarnation of Makima low-key put the War Devil on pack watch with like zero effort, so I think it's safe to say the Control Devil is just built different from the other horsemen. As for the final horseman, the Death Horseman, or the Death Devil, we haven't gotten any info on that at all. It seems like they're kind of being set up to be the final boss of this arc, but we know that the Death Devil will make an appearance at some point to complete the Four Horsemen story. So I think it's pretty clear that that's the direction of this arc, and I think that's all that needs to be said on this. So, alright, I appreciate you guys watching. If you want more Chainsaw Man stuff, I mean, definitely hit the like button, but yeah, I'm probably just gonna drop it anyway, low-key.